regular season, but he's there for this time of year.
Well, I was hoping that a long time ago that he was going to be a Cub, and when he went to the Phillies, I was thinking I was going to get Bryce. Bryce and shoot. What's his name? They traded him to the Rockies. I've lost my mind. The Cubs traded him to the Rockies. Chris Bryant. Yeah. Chris Bryant. See, they were buddies, and I was thinking, "Ooh, this is going to be awesome. This is cornerstone for years," and it just didn't materialize. But anyway, alongside John Shelley, Scott Bennett's back with us. And Austin Armstrong, our studio engineer. Thanks to our sponsors, Lindsey Wilson College, United Citizens Bank, TJ Regional Health, and we have a new sponsor tonight. Some would say Hot Pints, but others would say Hot Prints. It just depends on who's writing the stuff down for the people who's reading it. But it is Hot Prints. We're excited to have them as a sponsor. And, hey, you know what? If you're out there listening, you want to sponsor the show, we'd love to have you. And as always, our title sponsor is J&S Auto Sales. You can follow us live on Facebook at WAIM 101.9 FM and 1270 AM. And also follow us on YouTube at WAIN Radio. We're live on YouTube, and you can actually archive those as well and see John Shelley's pretty face each and every week. Don't forget to listen to us each Wednesday, though, live right here on 1270 AM and 101.9 FM CBS Sports Radio. Guys, as I mentioned just a few moments ago, a couple wins this week. Lindsey Wilson football retained the Highway 55 traveling trophy, and Adair County beats Butler to secure a playoff spot. So good week on the gridiron.
Yeah, for sure. I got a real special friend. He's listening in tonight from Georgetown. Called me. He wanted to tune in. Scott Weekly. So I wanted to say hello to Scott. And he's a big sports guy. And But Scott, I guess if Chris, are you leading? We're starting with Adair County.
Yeah, as always. Yeah.
Scott, how would you assess it? 8 carries for Lane Grant, 224, big plays. It was a game of stoppages with penalties. It had no flow. Adair County, Lane 4 of 11 through the air for 36 yards. It was really strange. Adair County wins kind of in blowout fashion, 33-13. It was just a frustrating game to call on the radio because of the hankies. Every play, the chains weren't connected to the officials. They had the chains messed up a couple times, and it was just some undiscipline. Coach Stoneberger talked about it on the pregame show about they had to be more disciplined, and
I don't think they succeeded in that.
There's just some really uncharacteristic penalties after the whistle blown. Some mouthing, some unsportsmanlike, some late hits, that kind of thing. But it was a tough game to call, I would think if you talk to Coach Stoneberger, which I hadn't, so I don't want to put words in his mouth, but it would have had to have been frustrating over there, I think, for him and his staff as well, even though they had the easy win.
Yeah, I'm like you. The biggest thing to me was there's no flow whatsoever to that game. And I thought it was going to last 5 hours. They just constantly stopping the clock, constantly throwing a penalty on this, and then talking for 10 minutes about it. And it's just it's one of those games that you just try to get out of with no injuries and move on to the next week. And it was a big one for one main reason was you could qualify for the playoffs with the win. So that was the big part about that. Now you go these last 2 weeks and try to hone things together and get ready to roll.
Chris, one thing I love about the NFL, when a flag comes out, the guy's immediately getting into his signals. He's either already got the number. It's a fast-paced deal. Well, the other night, every time there was a flag thrown, it was a conference. And a lot of times the conferences were lengthy. And
I watched it. I watched it for the first 3 quarters, and I agree with you. It was
bad. Yeah, it was really bad. But as he said, let's skip all that. Biggest game of the year. They advance to the playoffs. Probably going to get Union County. Go on the road this week in Stearns, Kentucky. Scott and I'll be going to Macquarie Central. So.
I wonder, and I thought this during the game, listening to you guys, and I could sense the frustration in the press box and in your tone,
yes.
and I heard Scott a couple of times being a little frustrated. Here's what I wonder, and Butler County knew exactly what was on the line. Adair County knew what was on the line, and when it started to turn one-sided,
they got mucked up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they at that point in time, Butler knew, hey, we're not going to the playoffs, and that's hard to take. So I got to think that probably played into it as well.
Yeah,
it's just my thought. It's just
big. Thinking back to the game, I think the defensive stand down on the goal line right before halftime was huge. The turnover on downs. Adair County gets the ball with 18 seconds, so I'm thinking maybe we were trying to run something very conservative because it was a quarterback draw that goes for 98 yards. Yeah. And so instead of
how he drew it up,
12-6 or it was 12-0 at the time of the defensive stand. So instead of 12-6 or 12-7, depending on the extra point, it's 18-0 because we get to stop and then go 98 yards, and then they ended up putting a touchdown on the board after that.
Yeah. And then here's the other thing that I noticed, and I think you alluded to it a couple of times, and this is not in any way, shape, or form a criticism of the people that were there. I mean, they were obviously there to support their young men, and that's fantastic. But I got to think, going into the game, a lot of people thought, okay, we should win this game, and then there was just seemed like from the just listening to the background noise, listening to you, that the crowd wasn't as into it as they had been against Franklin Simpson and Glasgow and Hart. I mean, there just wasn't the energy. I think you alluded to it a couple times.
Ty alluded to it in the call. He said the crowd is dead. He even said that a couple times. It was just people were waiting on something to happen, and when it didn't happen early, it's just like people got sidetracked. It was like they weren't focused on the game. Maybe they were on their phones. I don't know, but it was just really strange. It was a really strange atmosphere.
And with homecoming being back at halftime this year, I think that made a little difference because there was a lot of people out there that was just out there for homecoming. It just happened to be a ball game going on. So but like the thing about me that goes back to the flow, and another thing too, it ended up being a pretty night, but there's a cold breeze blowing. I might not have felt it. He's in the booth. I sat outside, and it was the first time really all year that you could tell this fall, and it was interesting to see how that worked out. You saw some blankets come out and some things like that. So,
and Chris, the football boosters provided everybody in the press box with baked spaghetti, pasta, and salad.
I didn't hear you say anything about that during the game.
And I thought, well,
he found her donuts.
I was thinking of what you said. Radio guys really shouldn't eat till after the game in case you can't really leave the booth. I'll just leave it at that. so you don't need to eat before the game. So I'm thinking, I'm going to save this. I'm going to sit this over in the corner. Well, as it got closer to kickoff, I got all my pre-stuff done, and I got to smelling that. So I ended up having some of that baked spaghetti for the kickoff, and it was fabulous. So I appreciate that.
That's awesome. I've lost my train of thought because you talk about food, and I'm hungry right now. Adair County moves on to the playoffs, but they still got two important games to go, and you want to go into the playoffs, on a high note. And these are both. I think you guys said it, or you said it last week, and Ty agreed with you. These are winnable games. These are games that Adair County should take care of. How important is it to make sure that you do that as you head into the playoffs?
I think so. 5-3, and I know as a goal for the team, to win 7 ball games, I would think would be a pretty successful year to go 7-3. And on paper, there will be big favorites to win both those games. games, but you still got to go play, and you're on the road. So this Friday, and of course come back for senior night against Metcalf. But I look for Adair County to really play well, because Coach Stonebreaker told me they had one of the best weeks of practice before Butler, and I would think it was a little frustrating for him, and it was for me. I think they'll come out ready to play with a lot of confidence Friday night against a Macquarie team that's really struggling.
Yeah, they're winless to this point this year.
Yeah, it's to me. Obviously, you want to win both games, but you got to at least win one of these to get a over 500 record. I mean, right now you're 5-3. On paper, we should be 7-3 at the end of the year, and that's kind of what I forecasted when somebody asked me before the season started. I said 7-3 is where they should be. 6-4 would be a little bit of disappointment. 9-2 would be awesome. I mean, that kind of thing. 8-2 would be awesome. But it's both these games, like John said, are winnable. But that's on paper. You got to go out there and play. It seems like, just me watching things, I think we play better on the road than we do at home, John. And just from the games we've seen, I mean, the Hart County game kind of got away from us there at the end, but played really well at Franklin Simpson. Defense played really well at LaRue County. What probably was the best game they played all year was it was a neutral site game, but it was away from home against Bethlehem, I think.
And I thought we played pretty well at Hart.
Yeah. For the most part.
We were leading that game right before halftime until that fluke ending to halftime, but Coach really thought we gave a good effort over there, and I thought we played pretty well too. Before I forget, Chris, I want to shout out to West Stevens and the middle school Indians for winning the, help me Scott, with the
CKMSAC.
Central Kentucky Middle School Conference Tournament. It's the first time the Indians have ever won that. So we had him as a guest Friday night.
He did a good job.
Yeah, he did a really good job on the interview. He had a really good guy asking good questions too. I mean,
all good interviews start with the person leading the way. So absolutely.
I'm just teasing, but it was a really good interview, and he really had some good things to say about that group of kids, and they turned the tables on Russell, who had beat them, Camelsville, who had beat them, I think, a couple weeks before. And Scott talked about there was a trick play. I didn't get to ask him about it. Onside kick trick play.
They lined up, and they got in a big huddle right there behind the ball. Well, one of the coaches started hollering at the kids, said, get off. So he goes running off the sideline and does a barrel roll. Well, as he's doing the barrel roll, of course, the kids from Camelsville go, as soon as they did it, they onside it. Got it. As soon as they turn, it's like I got the video. They turned their head and boom, the ball's on them. It was too late. I mean, it was.
Was that to start the game or to start the second half?
Start second half, I think.
Wow.
Or maybe not start second half. Maybe it was after an early score. I mean, it was fairly early in the game. But it was wild.
Chris, volleyball ended their season to Taylor. Straight sets, lost 3-0, 25-7, 25-9, 25-10.
Yeah, it was.
So,
wasn't real competitive.
So,
but did had a school best 14 wins on the season.
14 and 16, but just had a tough draw in the district.
And the thing is too, they're still. I mean, they return all their production. I'll just put it that way. It's the easiest way to put it. Next year. So I mean, it ought to be. Ought to get a little better next year, hopefully, and they've got some girls that are young that. I don't want someone come out the wrong way. Look like volleyball players. They're 5'9", 5'10", 6 foot, and they're young. They're still learning, but they're fairly athletic too. So it's some good days ahead, I believe.
Chris, another local October 15th has arrived. So Lady Indians and Indians boys and girls basketball teams are practicing.
They're 5 weeks from a basketball game.
I went out to practice this afternoon to watch the boys a little bit.
So
new kid can play. I'll just put it that way. New kid can play.
Well, here's the thing: new kid can play, and we've got some returning kids that can play.
Yeah,
So,
it's gonna be fun to watch.
yeah, I'm excited. We just need to find a food sponsor for the radio guys. I'm talking about when we go on the road. Just somebody just every once in a while say,
I hear
feel
there's
sorry for those guys.
Listen,
I appreciate their service. I'm gonna kick in a meal plan.
I don't want to mention any names, but there is a new place in town that just opened up, Austin. Just letting you know that. And no, I wouldn't just let's not just say Adair County basketball or football games. What about JNS Auto? I mean, I could eat right now. Let's just bring them on in here for. There's nothing wrong with us eating while we're talking, right?
Make some room. You're gonna have a nacho plate.
You keep on saying you're hungry, and he just keeps on bringing up food.
I know. That's exactly
No, I'm just teasing. But I'm looking forward to.
I'm just teasing. No, he's not.
I'm looking forward to basketball. I really am. And I've really enjoyed.
He just want to know when the next chili supper is.
I got a shout out to the Adair County Youth League. My son's part of that, and it didn't end the season. I think the K through 2 Euros. I'd have to look at my phone, but they're in the championship on Saturday. The third and fourth and the fifth and sixth grader teams lost in the first round and didn't advance. But the coaches that put to basically give their time, the people who run the league and I don't know and the young boys. I mean, and there's a few girls on the teams as well. So I just want to say congratulations on the season. The parents out there that bring them to practice every day and out there on Saturdays for games and Sundays on games. It's just good, and I think these are the type of kids that will kind of one day be playing for Adair County, and hopefully we'll be talking about.
I think you're seeing the outcome of the youth program. To me, it got around the senior class this year. To me, it's when it started building numbers back when they were third and fourth, whatever. I don't think they had a kindergarten league back then, but you look at the freshman class this year's got 20-some kids. Eighth grade class is getting ready to come up that just won the conference. It's got 20-some kids. You can start building some depth and and that type of thing when you have that size classes. I mean, that's it's a big thing, and there's a lot of kids that have gone out for football that maybe not in the past in Adair County wouldn't have played football. And I've said it a million times that to have a successful football program here, you've got to have our county don't have enough athletes to just pick and choose a sport. You got to have them. The best teams we've ever had have been the best athletes in schools played. So that's still one of my goals, is to try to get as many kids playing as he is. But I'm like you though, they've done a really good job with that, and just hope it keeps on rolling.
Yeah, they had over 100 kids this year, and that's promising for the future of Adair County football. So one other thing, I just chuckled because I haven't been around high school sports as much as you guys have been since I was in high school.
It'll be here before you know it, and you will be.
I know. But the crazy, I have never seen, and this isn't a criticism, but I've never seen so many people up for Homecoming Queen. That was incredible how many people were up for that.
This is my personal, I'm not a big homecoming guy, don't get me wrong. There at one time they had a 3 or 4 year stretch where all the candidates were in the election or whatever you call it, but they only brought the top 10 out.
Yeah.
For football. Now basketball they still bring. I mean, they're lined up all the way through the cafeteria.
You got 2 homecomings in a year?
Oh yeah, they have football and basketball.
Here's my take on it.
You have homecoming for baseball?
No.
Okay.
The more activities you can get kids involved in, whether it's axe throwing or wrestling or homecoming or whatever.
Where's this man's good?
Anything you can get kids involved in, it takes them away from opportunities where they're tempted to do bad things.
Oh, absolutely.
You just get kids involved in things,
Just don't combine axe throwing and bowling, right?
Well, I was just thinking, how about only run that one time, and I really enjoyed that.
You're right.
I just came to
That's
mind.
one thing is I was excited about it, and I know nothing about it, but starting the esports last year, I thought that was a great thing. Just another thing of getting kids involved and stuff.
Absolutely. All right. Anything else on our Adair County segment? Okay. Again, football this coming Friday. They're on the road at McQuarrie Central.
7 p.m. kickoff.
7 o'clock Central, right?
7.
Yep.
Yep. All right. We're going to step away for a couple minutes. We come back. We will talk a little Lindsey Wilson athletics. This is the JNS Auto Sales Sports Talk live and local.
United Citizens Bank.
This is Matt Loy with United Citizens Bank. Although I'm very proud of all the products and services we offer, the best thing we have to offer is good, old-fashioned customer service. It may seem like banking is moving to smartphones and computers, and while we can do that too, we don't think anything can replace a firm handshake and your confidence in our word. When you think personal service and customer-first banking, think UCB. United Citizens Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
This is Kylie McCovens. I'm a Greene County High School graduate and a Lindsey Wilson College student. I'm well on my way to earning my degree in Human Services and Counseling. At LWC, I've met new people, had the opportunity to become involved on campus, and I've loved being a part of campus ministry. Visit today and you will want to make Lindsey Wilson College your new home too. Call the admissions office at 270-384-8100 or email us at admissions@lindsey.edu.
Have you injured yourself playing a sport or exercising? Sports medicine experts at TJ Regional Health are trained to get you back on the road to recovery. Whether you're dealing with sprains, fractures, knee and shoulder injuries, or other common injuries, our goal is to prevent illness and injury in active individuals of all ages and help prevent future problems to maximize your performance. Find out more at tjregionalhealth.org/rehab. Patients first, team always. TJ Rehabilitation Services.
Let J&S Auto Sales show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Columbia. They believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right. Their friendly and knowledgeable sales staff is here to help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Shop their virtual showroom of used cars, trucks, and SUVs online at jnsautosalesky.org. J&S Auto Sales, here to help you find that perfect car you deserve, priced to fit your budget.
Do you have a business? Are you running for an office? Maybe you've just got a kid in sports. No matter what you've got going on in your life, Hot Print Screen Printing and Embroidery's got a service or product you need. We've got a large selection of pre-printed items available in our storefront that you can just walk in and buy anytime, including Adair County Indian shirts, Adair County band shirts, and Columbia, Kentucky apparel. So come on by and check out all the great services and products available at Hot Print Screen Printing and Embroidery, or call us anytime Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. Let us put our experience to work for you.
The Leach Report with the voice of the Wildcats, Tom Leach, followed by Kentucky Sports Radio. Weekday mornings, 8 a.m. Central, 9 Eastern on CBS Sports Radio, 1270 AM and 1019 FM WAIN.
This October, let's make a difference in the fight against breast cancer. Brought to you by our sponsor, A1 Stop Beauty Shop. At A1 Stop Beauty Shop, we're all about beauty and health. This Breast Cancer Awareness Month, remember this important tip. Maintain a healthy lifestyle, eat well, exercise, and reduce stress. These choices can significantly lower your risk of breast cancer. Support the cause with A1 Stop Beauty Shop and prioritize your health. Visit us for all your beauty needs, and let's work together for a healthier you.
Welcome back to JNS Auto Sales Sports Talk live and local. Our sponsors are United Citizens Bank, Lindsey Wilson College, TJ Regional Health, our newest sponsor, Hot Prints, and our title sponsor, JNS Auto Sales. Talk a little Lindsey Wilson athletics. It's crossover season is here. Scott asked me during the timeout. Crossover season is when the winter sports combine with the fall sports, and it's kind of here. It's not full-fledged yet, but it's pretty close. But right now we'll talk talk mostly about the fall sports. Lindsey Wilson volleyball swept Kentucky State last night. They to improve to 13-12. They'll go over to Campbellsville tomorrow night as they start the second swing of playing in Mid-South Conference play. Campbellsville won the other game earlier this season against Lindsey Wilson. 3-1. Women's soccer is in action right now out over at Walter S. Ruling Stadium. Cumberland, Tennessee is in town. They lead Lindsey 1-0. We've played about 25 minutes of the first half of that one. The men play right after. Lindsey Wilson men are 5th in the country for a third straight, maybe fourth straight week. They are 9-2-1 on the season, and they play Cumberland University tonight at 7 o'clock. And if you haven't watched them play, you should get out and watch. They're a very talented team. And as we mentioned before, the Lindsey Wilson football team picked up a win on Saturday over in Campbellsville in the Battle of Highway 55. 35-14, they beat Campbellsville to improve to 5-1 on the season. Jabias Dawson rushed for 201 yards in the game, and Logan Collier returned a kickoff for a touchdown, 100 yards. Actually, it was 101. He was about a yard deep in the end zone. He brought it out. And
can you get credit for more than 100 in college?
Nope. Okay. It's 100 as much as you can get. But it was interesting because he went right up the middle, and he was met by two Campbellsville return or coverage guys, and he just put a little move and got one of them off balance a bit and kind of exploited that, went in between, and then he just outran the kicker, who was just way out of position. It's his fourth kickoff return for a touchdown in his career. Lindsey, get this, guys, and this is an unbelievable stat. They have 6 special teams touchdowns this year. They have 3 punt returns for a touchdown and 3 kickoff returns for a touchdown. I mean, that's massive when you think of that. And then you throw in, I think we have 5 defensive scores this year. So special teams and defenses really contributed to the scoring this year. And as I mentioned, Jabias Dawson had another great week of 201 rushing yards. The Washington County native just continues to play well. Very windy on Saturday. I was stunned at how much that impacted the game. It was almost, I've been at a bunch of soccer games in my life where the wind plays havoc with the game, and if you've got the wind at your back, you dominate possession of the ball because it's just so hard to go against the wind in soccer. And that was about what it was like on Saturday. It was just bizarre because we were down there pregame, and you could feel it, but it wasn't awful. But as the game went on, it just got worse and worse, and it was a hard game to go against the wind. Lindsey Wilson and Campbellsville actually had the win the first quarter, and Lindsey was fortunate enough to get out of there with a scoreless first quarter, and then they scored 14 in the second quarter and never.
I thought our defense did a really good job at not letting them get comfortable in that passing game. They brought a lot of pressures. Just the quarterback never could get comfortable, and I thought that was a big key in that game.
Yep, I told Coach Kleckler, or asked Coach Kleckler in the pregame, what was one of the things that he wanted to accomplish. He said, I really want my D-line to play well, step up, because he said we got a lot of talent there that hasn't met their expectation, I guess. And they were so good. They were disruptive. That was the word I kept using. They just kept disrupting the quarterback, and he still had a good afternoon. But for the most part, I thought the Lindsey Wilson won the battle of the trenches. Obviously, anytime you can put a guy who rushes for 200 yards, your offensive line's doing a good job. And the Blue Raider defense had, I think, 7 sacks in the game, which is a season high. So you put those kind of numbers, Scott, you win the battle of the trenches. It goes a long way. It was picking a win.
A real long way. You're exactly right. So Lindsay and Georgetown still the two undefeated teams in the Mid-South. After that, I thought I heard in the pregame that Campbellsville was one of them too. So.
Campbellsville was one of them. There were 3 left, and Campbellsville was 2-0. Lindsay and Georgetown were both 1-0, and both won on Saturday. So University of Cumberland comes to town this week. A dangerous team, a team that was
take that one for granted. Never.
It was a team that was ranked in the top 20 earlier this season, and they suffered a couple of losses. They lost to Bethel, which there's no disgrace in that. Bethel's a really good football team. They've been in the top 10 most of the year, and they lost on the road at Cumberland University, which is always a tough place to play. But that was one that kind of got away from Cumberland's, and it's one that they'll look back on and kind of kick themselves if they don't pull off an upset either over Lindsey Wilson or Georgetown. That loss right there could potentially cost them a chance at making the playoffs. But
talking about Bethel, Bethel's not in Mid-South anymore.
They are.
Oh, they still are. Okay.
Georgetown beat.
Beat. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Georgetown beat Bethel on the road.
Because was Bethel the highest ranked team coming in the preseason?
Yeah. Lindsey Wilson is now 8th in the country. Bethel is 10, and Georgetown's 11, which Georgetown beat Bethel. Interesting fact, because you've witnessed a bunch of Lindsey Wilson football games because you used to work up in the press box for us, and I wish I was videoing your face, because you're going to be shocked when I tell you this, because if you don't know it already. So Georgetown beats, and this is, John, you would be surprised by this as well. Georgetown beat Bethel something like 52-21, or it was a thorough beatdown. But Georgetown had 2 pick sixes in the game, and Bethel turned the ball over like inside their 10-yard line, and so Georgetown had a short field. But get this. Georgetown was 1 for 9. Again, this is a Chris Oliver coach team, and we know Chris Oliver, and he likes his passing. They were 1 for 9 passing the football against Bethel for the entire game for 0 yards. They had 0 passing yards in that game and still won it.
Put up 52.
Yeah. So they ran all over Bethel, obviously, but it was
same coach still at Bethel.
Yeah,
he is one large man.
He is one large man. Mike Jasper, and he's a good guy. I really like Coach Jasper a lot. But Lindsey Wilson will take on the University of the Cumberlands on Saturday. It's a 1:30 p.m. Central Time kickoff. 12:45 is our pregame show. You can join Bob Boone and myself for the coverage of that game. So looking forward to it on Saturday. That'll do our Lindsey Wilson report. We're going to step away for a couple of minutes. When we come back, not as good news for UK. Not so good news for UK and U of L.
I love this. Is the part of the show I like.
We'll be back in a couple minutes. This is the J&S Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local.
Let J&S Auto Sales show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Columbia. They believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right. Their friendly and knowledgeable sales staff is here to help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Shop their virtual showroom of used cars, trucks, and SUVs online at jnsautosales.ky.org. J&S Auto Sales, here to help you find that perfect car you deserve, priced to fit your budget.
Do you have a business? Are you running for an office? Maybe you've just got a kid in sports. No matter what you've got going on in your life, Hot Print Screen Printing and Embroidery's got a service or product you need. We've got a large selection of pre-printed items available in our storefront that you can just walk in and buy anytime, including the Dare County Indian shirts, the Dare County band shirts, and Columbia, Kentucky apparel. So come on by and check out all the great services and products available at Hot Print Screen Printing and Embroidery, or call us anytime Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. Let us put our experience to work for you.
Have you injured yourself playing a sport or exercising? Sports medicine experts at TJ Regional Health are trained to get you back on the road to recovery, whether you're dealing with sprains, fractures, knee and shoulder injuries, or other common injuries. Our goal is to prevent illness and injury in active individuals of all ages and help prevent future problems to maximize your performance. Find out more at tjregionalhealth.org/rehab. Patients first, team always. TJ Rehabilitation Services.
Hi, This is Kylie McCovens. I'm a Greene County High School graduate and a Lindsey Wilson College student. I'm well on my way to earning my degree in Human Services and Counseling. At LWC, I've met new people, had the opportunity to become involved on campus, and I've loved being a part of campus ministry. Visit today and you will want to make Lindsey Wilson College your new home too. Call the admissions office at 270-384-8100 or email us at admissions@lindsey.edu.
United Citizens Bank.
This is Matt Loy with United Citizens Bank. Although I'm very proud of all the products and services we offer, the best thing we have to offer is good, old-fashioned customer service. It may seem like banking is moving to smartphones and computers, and while we can do that too, we don't think anything can replace a firm handshake and your confidence in our word. When you think personal service and customer-first banking, think UCB. United Citizens Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Hey, it's Carson. I hope that we get to spend the work days together every weekday from 9 until 2. It's Country with Carson on Hot Country 93.5. We're talking about what's trending, what's going on with you, and don't be surprised when your favorite country stars drop on by. You can reach me anytime through Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. It's Carson on Air. Also, hit me up at 800-667-8686. It's Country with Carson, weekdays from 9 until 2 on Hot Country 93.5.
And I didn't think I was going to get adopted because I knew I was getting older and older and older. I didn't think that was going to happen.
Help the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption find homes for those waiting in foster care the longest. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
Welcome back to J&S Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local. Our sponsors, our newest sponsor, Hot Prints, along with TJ Regional Health, Lindsey Wilson College, United Citizens Bank. Our title sponsor is J&S Auto Sales. Well, guys, 38-21. That was the score of both UK and U of L's stinkers on Saturday. UK lost to Missouri at home after being up 14-0. The crowd going crazy. Louisville they lost on the road at Pitt, which I guess is a better loss than, I don't know if it's a better loss, and it's not a better loss than Missouri, if there's even such a thing as a good loss, but it's a game that they definitely were favored in and should have won. But let's start with the UK. I mean, John?
I guess I was sitting there this afternoon knowing we were going to discuss it on the show, thinking about what happened, guys. 14-0. Crowd's going wild. Ray Davis is already at 100 yards, I think, the first two drives. We get a stop, and Missouri fakes a punt, and
shell shock.
Yeah, they scored a touchdown on the fake punt, and everything just fell completely apart at that point. We couldn't run the ball anymore. We threw it for $120 with 2 picks. Also had a fumble, so we turned it over 3 times.
Penalties.
Mm-hmm. Lots of penalties, 11 penalties, and Scott, we even said it off the air, a lot of, just undisciplined stuff. Hands to the face, late hit out of bounds, unsportsmanlike conducts, just stuff like that, and very frustrating. Missouri had the second worst pass defense in the league coming into that one, and then we throw for 120. So that, to me, that was the difference in the game. I thought we ran the ball pretty well. And if you'd have told me that their star receiver had 2 catches,
something like that,
2 catches for Neal, basically, I would have thought we'd have won the game easy, because he's a big time prospect, it was just a game that we got outscored 18-0 in the fourth quarter. I did not realize that today. I looked at the box score.
Yeah, they were actually up 21-20. It was just frustrating. Like I said, like I told you all, I just walked away from it. I've sat through some bad UK games before, and I couldn't take no more. I turned it off and went to bed. It was just I don't.
We talked.
I don't. Is Leary is he overhyped? Was he overhyped? What's the problem?
We talked last week, Chris, about Kentucky having the slowest pace of play in the country.
Yep.
But on top of that, and Stoops is 10.5 years. I looked at this today. We're the only team in the SEC that has not had a 3,000-yard passer in a season. We're not going to get to 2,000 this year. It doesn't look like. We're the only team. So I don't know the disconnect. Chris's theory is Leary's he's not right. He's not healthy.
I can see that.
That's his take. Ty's take last week is Leary's not comfortable in this new system. He's up under center a lot. Stoops said that the receivers are a little bit banged up. Where are our tight ends? I mean, they're great blockers. I watch Caddis. He's a great run blocker. But
when he don't hold.
He gets some holding calls, which, I mean, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He's in there trying to run block all the time. But we never throw to our tight ends. Coming into the season, that's all I heard is this, the best tight end room in the country, maybe besides Notre Dame. And we don't ever throw to our tight ends. So really frustrating. And then a really knowledgeable friend of mine told me today, he said, listen, here's the bottom line. They're just not very good on defense. There's not.
And when their best defender's out, it shows too.
I mean, there's not very good on defense. So you throw all those together, it's just we can't really rely on that one thing other than maybe Ray Davis. And you can't line up and beat your Alabamas and Georgias trying to, go toe-to-toe.
No, but you're supposed to beat Missouri up 14-0. I mean, and 21-20 in the fourth quarter. You're supposed. They'd won 8 out of 9 against Missouri, but the disappointing part to me is when they got knocked back and Missouri took the 2014 lead. When Kentucky took the 21-20 lead, I thought, okay, here you go, and I'm just disappointed how they rolled over because I'm just really surprised by how they just. It almost looked like they quit.
The disappointing thing to me too is. Georgia's done what Georgia does to teams, but you have the opportunity to come back home, especially after you took the early lead and all that kind of stuff. Let people get a good feeling about themselves. You got going into the off week, and then you got Tennessee. I mean, you got nothing to lose there. You in that game, all of a sudden, you're 7-1.
Yeah.
I mean, that's and with Alabama coming after that, I mean, you got a chance to have a special season. I mean, but it's just when you drop one like that, I'm really worried. Just looking at the schedule, there's no gimmies left. Mississippi State's not very good, but you got to go down there, and we never play good down there.
Play well down there.
Yeah, man. So there's a possibility they may finish 5-7.
Hey, let me throw this out there. Of course, Kentucky's the latest sports betting state. We've got that approved, and they had Kentucky's win total at 7. Oh, you can take over or under 7, and everybody I know has bet over 7. But I'm starting to sweat that a little bit for them.
Because, there's a lot of reason to sweat it.
Yeah, because I might get to 7, but I don't know about 8.
There's a lot of maybes in their schedule, and then there's a few no's. I mean, after the performance I saw the last 2 weeks. So there's two things that I took away because I was listening to the pregame of the UK game, and they have Mitch Barnhart on there all the time. He has his own segment.
Yep.
And one of the commentators or whatever said, hey, one win away from bowl eligibility, and he made the statement, and I was surprised that he made this statement. We're beyond that. We're beyond just thinking about being bowl eligible every year, and I was like, wow, that's a pretty big statement to make. So, and then what Scott just said, this team is they've got to step up because I mean, there's a long way to go. I mean, they're still 5-2. There's still 5 games left in the season, but they're, like Scott said, there's no gimmies left, and that's just something that you just got to be careful with. Yep. The second thing was during the game, I was listening to the commentators, and they said they were talking about Leary and how someone close to Leary at North Carolina State was used to tempo, and that in UK is dead last in the country in total plays run. I mean, dead last in total plays.
That's kind of impressive.
Yeah, and if you want to think of that, yeah. And they were just talking about how. And Ty said it last week that the system is what he thinks is Leary's problem. I think he's still feeling the effects of that injury, but after hearing that, I'm like, goodness gracious, that Ty may be exactly right. I mean, Leary just may not want to go that slow. He needs the tempo.
And I think you've had 3 or 4 different coordinators, different things like that. There's been one constant in all this about all this slow offense. There's been one constant.
Yeah, Mark Stoops.
Exactly.
Yeah, we talked about all the coordinators. Neil Brown, fast. Shannon Dawson, fast. Eddie Grant, I don't know what you'd say.
He was at Cincinnati.
He was wide open at Cincinnati. But the one guy that I think puts his stamp on, I'd like to sit down with Neil Brown. I'd like to have a one-on-one with Neil, and just in the car with a cup of coffee, saying, Neil, how much were your hands tied when you were the coordinator? I mean, I'd like to know that. Of course, he would never probably tell that, but it's really frustrating. I think you simplify things moving forward. If you're Liam Coen, I think you put him in the gun. You put Davis back there with him, and you run some stuff out of the gun and get some tempo going. Let's try it.
Could they in the off week come out against Tennessee and all of a sudden be a hurry up?
I don't think so.
I don't think they will.
I don't think Stoops would allow. Here's another thought, and then we'll move on to Louisville. Is how much Kentucky has struggled after Cohen's went up in the press box because of the thing that the medical emergency that he had to.
I'll be surprised if he's not back there on the field.
I would be too. I mean, I know that they can still talk to the quarterback and everything through the headset and all that. But I just wonder if him not being down on the field is impacting Leary a little bit too.
To me, I've never coached at that level. Obviously, I mean, I was an excellent little league coach. But to me, I think I like coaches being on the field personally, the coordinators being on the field personally, because they can get a feel for things down there. When you're up in the booth, you don't have no feel. I mean, you may have the window open, but you still don't have that feel of being down there. And I mean, obviously you need people up there to relay stuff down. But I like the coordinators being on the field.
I was just going to say, I noticed I'm a body language guy. He threw his last pick when the game was already over, and it was like he just went to the sideline and tried to hide. It was like a guy that really lost his confidence a little bit.
Oh, I agree.
And so
the crazy thing is that during the week they said on the broadcast he had his best week, and the receivers had their best week, and then they put on this performance the last 3 quarters. So I don't know. Louisville had an equally disappointing loss, 38-21 at Pitt. I watched some of that game. I just felt that Louisville felt far superior, and Pittsburgh said, come here, and just punched them in the mouth, and Louisville didn't have the response.
You got to read those clippings too much.
I think that's exactly what it is.
Big plays in that game too. A pick six, and I thought Plummer,
which was a terrible throw.
Yeah, I thought Plummer was bad in that game.
He wasn't the best Plummer.
He's a ball control guy anyway, but he wasn't the same guy against Pitt as he was against Notre Dame.
No.
Sure.
But you see again too, college football. I mean, it didn't work for UK obviously, but home field makes so much. When you're playing, I mean, look at look at just Louisville, for example. I mean, sky high for the Notre Dame game. It seemed like they could do anything wrong, right? And then go up there and just it's odd in how home field in college works most of the time.
Yeah, both teams on a bye this week. UK's got Tennessee next Saturday, October 28th. That's a night game at Kroger Field. It'll be interesting to see how they come back and try to respond from that. While Louisville hosts Duke, that's
be a tough game too.
Yeah, that game time hasn't been announced yet. Western played a rare Tuesday night game last night.
They had a scheduled game on Tuesday night. They didn't show up. It was bad. That was a bad loss.
Western can't run the football. I watched the game last night. They've struggled all year. I looked at the game on paper a little bit before it started, and their quarterback, he had so many balls deflected, just where his height, he can't get the ball over the line of scrimmage. Reed, but they were in it late there, and I thought Jacksonville State, of course, Rich Rodriguez, he has a lot of experience. I thought he called a good game late there to give his team a chance to win, and they did.
Yeah, last second field goal as time expires. Jacksonville State won 2017. I just can't. It's just hard for me to get used to games every night of the week now. I mean, you have a football game every night of the week, it seems. I don't know.
I can't blame a lot of these programs for doing it.
Games tonight.
Is there?
Yeah. Starting last a week ago Thursday, not last Thursday. Yeah, no, it was last Thursday. There's a football game for the next 51 nights.
I mean, it's just crazy.
Between college and NFL, there's a game every day for 51 days.
I think you were getting ready to say you can't blame the programs for if they're going to get put on ESPN. You don't blame them.
No, I mean it's good for the what is that conference they're in, the
Conference USA.
Yeah, Conference USA.
And I mean, action starts next week. I love some action. Especially when it starts snowing up there. I gotta love it.
Before we talk playoff baseball and NFL, UK basketball, the SEC media days occurred last couple of days. UK picked fourth in the conference. So are you a little surprised by that?
Not after last year, but I think they will finish higher than fourth.
I got to catch the LSU segment today.
Okay.
I can't believe how big those guys are. They're huge. Three guys over 6'10" and a 7-footer. And then they got the transfer. Help me that he came from Texas to big guy shoots threes. And then they got another they got the Collins. Damian Collins is there too. That was at Kentucky. Mm-hmm. And the coach just smiled and said, "I'm just pleasantly surprised how skilled he is. I didn't realize he had any skills." And so evidently he's had a good camp. And but LSU's going to be pretty good. I don't know about Kentucky. Another thing, some of these teams are old. Kentucky's young. They thought it was freshmen. To me that makes a difference. But I think they're going to be super talented. They're going to win a lot of games.
Tennessee, Texas A&M, Arkansas are the three teams picked above Kentucky. LSU, I believe you 100%, but LSU I think
probably
next to last. I think so. Real quick before we go to baseball.
Thank goodness for Ole Miss, probably. I said thank goodness for Ole Miss if I had to guess.
I don't remember who it was. For some reason, I want to say it's Georgia, but I could be wrong.
Or South Carolina.
It could be South Carolina. Yeah. Something like that. Shane Beamer. Did you hear what happened to Shane Beamer?
Broken foot. I do know that, but he didn't say how.
He kicked something he wasn't supposed to kick in the locker room after the loss to Florida, after the meltdown against Florida when they had that game well in hand. But I just Shane Beamer being Shane Beamer, I guess.
He's my least favorite coach.
3-10 there. He's going to start feeling a little heat. I did hear that today.
Starting to. Hey, this is his last year there.
The man would have never had a job if his last name wasn't Beamer. He can't coach.
Baseball, playoffs going on. We kind of mentioned it, open up the show. John, give us a little, recap of what's going on so far.
The Braves didn't show up. The Braves get beat. The Phillies have caught absolute fire, hitting a long ball. Harper, Castellanos, help me, Scott.
A former Cub and Red, by the way.
The Indiana Hoosiers.
Schwarber.
Oh, yeah.
Former Cub.
Yeah, he had 2 bombs last night. But anyway, Phillies won both games at home. They're up 2-0, and then kind of surprising, Texas beats Houston twice in Houston, and now they go back to Texas. So and you got an old veteran on the mound tonight, Scherzer, and he can show up and throw a good one. Yeah. He's got some age on him, but kind of a must-win for the Astros tonight.
I think so too. And you do not beat Philadelphia in the playoffs. That place is a madhouse, and it's just you talk about home field advantage. It's and it's not good radio, but I hope y'all enjoyed that tweet. Tweet I sent y'all. I enjoyed that way too much about Schwarber. What it sounds like him running.
Yeah, that was good. But Nola got the win last night. Nola's been very average up until the last month. He just caught fire, and
good time of year to do it.
They got an ace with Wheeler, so I think the Phillies probably right now would be. I would consider them the favorite to win the World Series, but Texas is playing awful well.
Texas playing great right now.
Texas was an interesting team because they played great all year long. They led that division for a long period of time, and they lost it on the last day of the regular season, and then had to go on the road, swept Tampa, who had a really good year. Now, Tampa was hurt. They had a couple guys not in the lineup because of injury, and then they just pounded on Baltimore, who are beloved Orioles, and they just have they. I don't think they've lost in the postseason yet.
They have not.
Yeah, they've caught absolute fire, and
So they get the Texas and Houston play tonight in Game 3. Game 4 tomorrow. We have a doubleheader tomorrow as Philadelphia goes to Arizona. Was it that an Arizona player saying it's just going to be just as rowdy in Arizona than it was in Philadelphia?
Might have said that, but I just really don't believe it.
I don't think so either. Hey, a scary moment. Switching over to the NFL. Scary moment up in Buffalo. Had another guy having to get carted off during their last home game.
That was the Kentucky boy.
Yeah.
Damian Harris.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, what's your take on the NFL? We're getting ready to go week 7. Your boy Joe Burrow's back healthy, it seems.
He looks better. Joe looks better. I'm a little worried about the Bengals on the defensive side of the ball. I think their defensive line is really good. I think they struggle a little bit in the secondary. Of course, Awuze's out. But they're playing better. And Cowboys got a big win Monday night. That was a big television game with the Chargers, 20-17.
Niners and Eagles both go down, so no undefeated teams. The 72 Dolphins
celebrate again.
Eagles losing the Jets, yeah. And
I still don't see though. I mean, the Cowboys may get there, but the Chiefs. It's going to be to me the Chiefs and 49ers or Chiefs and Eagles again.
How about Miami now? We got to throw Miami.
I don't know if they can
mix now.
So I don't know if they can play defense well enough.
They'll
score.
Dolphins and Eagles play on Sunday night this week. That'll be a great game.
Yep.
Looking forward to that. 49ers and Vikings play on Monday night coming up this week. So
the only thing worries about 49ers is McCaffrey hurt. How bad is McCaffrey hurt?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And if he's out, then that's a whole different
ballgame. Their slot guy, Samuel.
Oh, yeah, Debo.
Samuel's
out too.
Yep. He's out. So 49ers they're a little bit beat up. So.
And it don't shock me that they got beat, even though it was the Browns. I mean, just
Chris, off subject, how big of an injury Bowers at Georgia? He's out 4 to 5 weeks with some kind of ankle surgery.
Yeah. Hurt his ankle.
4 to 5 weeks. That's a big loss.
It is. Big loss. Last minute of the show this week. John, give us one more time. Adair on the road.
Adair on the road, looking for their 6th win, 5-3 at Macquarie Central. Scott and I will be in Stearns, Kentucky. Kickoff 7. We'll go on pregame about 6:40.
You on the radio this week?
No.
Oh,
I'll be down there.
He'll be in the car.
Oh,
yeah. He's got to help direct us, especially now. Stats are his number one thing, but he's got to help us on where we're stopping to eat.
All right. And Lindsey Wilson hosts University the Cumberlands at Parnell Family Stadium. Kickoff 1:30. We'll go on the air at 12:45 with our pregame show on Saturday. That'll do our coverage, or do our show this Wednesday of J&S Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local. Thanks to our sponsor, Hot Prints, the new sponsor, TJ Regional Health, United Citizens Bank, Lindsey Wilson College, and our title sponsor, J&S Auto Sales. For Austin Armstrong, Scott Bennett, and John Shelley, I'm Chris Wells. This has been the J&S Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local.